What's going on, guys? Dan here, and welcome to the weekly recap, I guess, for the Xbox One's launch. I did this last Tuesday for the PS4's launch as well. And basically what the idea is to let you know what I thought of the first, I guess it would be 5 days of whatever particular console it may be, of course. And if it's worth it, or the game's good, was the console good, etc., etc. And basically, I let you guys know, for those of you who are wanting to buy a next-gen console, which is the better buy right now, okay? And to be honest, there's been mixed reviews throughout both consoles, okay? First off, the PS4, I love the console, of course. It shows lots of potential. However, it was a boring week for the PS4, just because there weren't many great games to really bring the console, okay, let's see, to meet the potential, to push the potential of the PS4. You never saw that. It was very generic feeling games for the PS4, which I covered last week. Now, from what I've played this week with the Xbox One, now the big thing to know is the Xbox One is indeed $100 more than the PS4. So if you're caught between price and you're like, I don't want to spend $500 on a console, there's your answer right there. You have your PS4, right? On the other hand, though, the Xbox One had a few more release launch titles, exclusive launch titles, than PS4 did. PS4 had only a few. I think they actually only had like brand new exclusive titles, discs like these. Sorry, let me just grab them. 1 second. That's one. Shit. That doesn't count. Like these, like here's Killzone Shadowfall. Okay. Only had, I think, 2, and the rest were multi-platform, or they were already out on current gen consoles like Xbox 360, PS3. That sort of thing. Whereas from Xbox One, I counted 4. Sorry, there was 4. I only got 3, but as you can see, I have 4 games. You got Forza, you've got Dead Rising 3, and you've got Rise, Son of Rome. Okay, those were the 3 major new launch titles that I purchased. Now there was also Killer Instinct, which I technically own. I was given the game for free by Microsoft. Never played it. However, this game is about this video is about my enjoyment with this console on day one. So the price is a little steep. Like I said, $500 for a console. Not everyone has the money for that, especially when the holidays coming up. You have to spend money on gifts, and you have dinner plans and all that thing for holiday time. It's a very expensive time of the year for anybody. So really, the last thing on your mind is buying a new console if it's not worth it. You see what I'm saying? Now, like the PS4, there are no other games coming out for Xbox One that you would expect to be an exclusive. Actually, there's no releases for the next gen consoles, well, which are now current gen, I believe, to be coming out until, hell, I don't even think there's anything coming out in January for these new consoles. So basically, if you're buying now, you want to play for the new features, you really want the new features, and you want the new games, okay? So that's a big thing. And if you feel like you cannot hold off to buy a particular console, for example, the PS4, while its launch wasn't that great in terms of games, the console itself shows a lot of potential. It's going to be a great console, and you can't wait for that to change. You want a console now, you want something to play, or you will be getting both. Let's just look at it this way. You will be getting both, but you only want to buy one right now. For that, you just don't know which one to buy first. Okay, that's a good way to look at things as well. So if you're not sure, you want to buy both, but you don't know which is going to be better, well, this will help you, I hope. Okay? So, compared to the PS4's launch, while I had 3 games for that, like I said, Need for Speed Rivals, it's a pretty awesome game, I do like it. However, it's also available on Xbox One, as well as Xbox 360 and PS3, so current gen consoles as well. So I don't include that in this little recap, okay? Instead, I played the 3 games, Rise, Son of Rome, Dead Rising 3, and Forza 5, okay? Now, let's take a quick glimpse at some of these. Okay, so Rise, Son of Rome. I'm not going to go into a review, but out of all the 3 here, this was the game that probably you don't need to play, okay? It was good. It had some nice graphics, but the gameplay was repetitive, okay? I just want that to be known. But here's the thing. Compare this game to DanQ. It beats the shit out of DanQ, okay? That's my opinion, okay? It's my opinion. I'm not trying to stir up a hornet's nest. Now, here's the thing. I want everybody to know, and if I see it, I'm going to be so flippin' pissed off. I am not making these videos to start a stupid, pathetic, immature console war in the comments section, okay? I'm strictly giving you an individual standpoint, a neutral standpoint. I like both consoles. I'm going to say it right now, as crazy as that may sound. Everyone thought the Xbox One was going to be a big flop, and there's flaws left, right, and center. I don't think there's that many flaws with the Xbox One. Just like the PS4, it's a great console. I don't see any real problems with the Xbox One that need to be addressed, except for the fact that the Kinect is surprisingly not as useless as you would have thought. Like the fact that you can scan codes, that like just by holding it up, for example, you have your code, there's a barcode scanner, boom, right up to the camera, it scans it without you having to enter 25-digit code of crap. You see what I'm saying? So I liked it for that. That's a really good thing. However, the menus are kind of confusing. It's not as easy to look at your achievements, to invite friends to the game, party chat. It's all done with a sub-menu. It's basically like the Xbox is running the one big operating system, and the games are just applications. Before, I guess it's kind of good if you want to access your console and do something real quick while you're playing the game without having to exit your game. The game will still be running in the background kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like on your iPhone or your Android device, something like that, an iPad or something, where it's still running in the background. You can go do something real quick and go back to it right where you left off, and the game isn't even shut off. So I guess I can see how that works. But achievements are harder to get to, things like that. The interface isn't as simple to use compared to the PS4s. Now, like I said, the controller, I'm going to show you the controller as well. It is actually, it's very similar to the Xbox. Actually, I haven't held this Xbox 360 controller in a while. It feels different, okay? The Xbox 360 controller definitely feels different. Similar, but different, okay? This one feels lighter. The buttons, the one thing I wasn't 100% sure on was the left and right bumpers. They're very bulky. If you're on an Xbox 360 controller, you can be all up here. It doesn't matter where you press the button. It presses easily and quickly. It's not hard. However, on the Xbox One controller, good luck pressing up near the top. You have to be on the sides or in the middle. You can't, if your fingers stand up here, some people game like this, because you're if you're gonna extend it here. Sorry, I'm trying to do this as best as possible. If your fingers are on the triggers, left and right triggers, right? You sometimes have to switch up to these ones. Therefore, if they're your fingers like this, they're gonna be in the same spot on the bumpers. And the bumpers just don't press well up here. They require a little bit more. But if you're fine with you do get used to it. I'm not gonna lie, you do get used to it, and you do end up just pressing the bumpers where you're supposed to press them. So the controller's all around good. I'm okay with it. The D-pad is easier to maneuver because it's not on a ball like this was now. It's actually got separate cross buttons, so you know you're pressing the D-pad. See what I'm saying? It's not on this stupid roundabout thing. You'll know what I mean, trust me. So controllers, I have no problem with it. The Xbox One's controller is good. Something I don't like, I'll show you in just a minute. The PS3 has been able to implement this technology, but for some reason Xbox, the Microsoft team, still hasn't worked on it. Your battery pack. Like the Xbox 360, the controllers don't come without they give you batteries, but the fact that you have to run it off batteries is kind of old school now, wouldn't you think? The PS3 and the PS4 both have a rechargeable controller right out of the box. You don't have to buy anything separate. I had to buy a plain charge kit valued at $30. So when you think about it, the Xbox One is quite expensive for a next-gen console. Now, here's the thing with the Xbox One. I like it, okay? I really had a lot of fun. The games are fantastic. I'm not done with them. I'm done with a couple, but I'm still working on some of the games. The launch games are a lot of fun. Particularly Forza 5 and Dead Rising 3. I had a lot of fun with those games. Whereas on PS4, I didn't have anything too noticeable. Like in terms of DanQ and Killzone, those games were not even in the same league as those. See what I'm saying? They're just not as fun. And like I said, Need for Speed Rivals doesn't count, okay? It's a cross-platform game. When you're selling a console, you want to give them specific games. Because here's the thing. If Need for Speed, for example, you can't sell the system off a thing. Like, you're trying to sell a console, okay? You cannot sell the console on the basis that I don't have to go buy this console. I can go out and buy this game on my current gen console right now without having to buy an extra $400, $500 console just to play the damn thing. It's not worth it because 9 times out of 10, the graphics are going to be upscaled and they're not going to be made for that next gen console. Exclusives are. That's why I take that into consideration. So if I were to go out to buy a PS4, I'm like, I want to play some good games. My choices are what I've already played and Killzone and Knack. Pretty much nothing else. At least I don't believe anything new besides that. There's a couple arcade style games that you can play, but no one wants to do that forever. But then if you go to the Xbox and you want it on day one, and you're like, or you want a console on day one, you want to play it now, you have the money, you want to buy it now, you look at the games like Forza. That's a system seller, definitely. This game is fantastic. Rise, not a system seller, but it allows you to look at what the Xbox One can do right now, because it is beautiful visuals. It is stunning. It looks amazing. And then if you have Dead Rising, not a system seller, but it is, because this Dead Rising is probably the best one out of all the Dead Rising games I've played, and that says a lot because I find the Dead Rising games get kind of repetitive. This one feels different. The system is different. You're not in a mall finally, right? But not even just environment, but the style is a little bit different. They've improved things that that were really frustrating from the old games, like having to save. Like there's an auto save system now. You can save wherever you want. You don't have to save in a bathroom. You can save in a bathroom, of course, but you don't have to. You're not restricted to that. So, like in the previous Dead Rising games, if you didn't save it in a bathroom, you pretty much lose your progress. There were auto saves, but not every time there's a particular event, okay? So Dead Rising 3, I guess could sell the system. I had a blast with that game, but that's just me, okay? So if we look at overall enjoyment, the Xbox One was a good launch. I think it did better than the PS4's launch, okay, people? Please, for the love of God, don't start that little immature shit. I swear to God, I've seen it in a few games. People are like, oh, this game, it's Xbox One, it's flawed as hell. I don't know why you played this Rise, son of shit, blah blah blah. And it's stupid, because if you don't like it, why are you here to bitch on it? Like, the only thing that makes you look like you're 5 years old. And they're like, no, there's no children here. Yes, there are, apparently, because adults don't give a shit about that. Okay? Now, if you are that pathetic and you think one console's better than the other, no matter what the facts lay out, don't even bother watching this. I mean, obviously it's too late, but I'm just saying, I'm here from a neutral standpoint. Obviously, both consoles aren't going to be perfect from the launch. Of course not. But there are things that you can look at that you can prepare yourself for. Like, let's look at this. The Xbox One, a little expensive in the top. It is. It's got too much stuff. You're spending, let's just round it up. For what the PS4 can give you, pretty much identical specs and equipment, you're basically spending an extra $130 to $150. Like, for example, the Play and Charge kit, the console extra itself. You know what I mean? It adds up to you're spending more for the same you can get from the PS4. All the while, the PS4 doesn't have very enjoyable games yet, whereas the Xbox One does right now. You see what I'm saying? So it's really a catch-22. What do you want to play? Are you willing to wait for better games to come out for the PS4? Therefore, you can get the cheaper option and not play anything for months. But then what's the point of that? You might as well wait, right? Then if you get the Xbox One, you'll have some games to enjoy, but your money you have a little less money than you would like. You see what I'm saying? Because then you still have to buy the games themselves, right? Like, the games aren't cheap. So you really got to weigh your options. What are you looking for? Instant gaming, nice, good fun right away? Or are you patient enough, save a bit of money? That's what you got to look at. And that's your decision. I can't make the decision for you because I'm glad I have both consoles. I am actually extremely pleasantly surprised with the Xbox One. I thought it was going to be a terrible console with some of the mess ups past at E3. You know, it was just a very dark day, dark time for Microsoft. But I think they did very well, and I'm very pleased with how these games are, how the console works. Overall, there are downsides, of course, just like there are downsides with the PS4. So, with that being said, is the Xbox One worth it right now? I can't fully answer you. Well, the PS4, I could have said no. I said no right away because there's no fun games. There's no point in just buying a $400 piece of hardware when you probably already got a PS3. Now, here's the thing. Here's another kicker. What if you don't have a PS3? and you haven't played Assassin's Creed or any of the games like Battlefield, Call of Duty that came out in the last month or so, last couple months, and you don't have them, but you want a new console, that way you're prepared, then either or console is worth it. Then the PS4 is probably your better go. But you see what I mean, right? It depends on the circumstance. So in terms of the Xbox One, I think it is worth it for me personally, because the money is a business expense. So therefore, the experience and enjoyment alone is worth it to me. However, if you don't feel like these games are particularly your style, you're just not, you know what, I can hold off, you're better off holding off, because it is a pricey console. Like Xbox or Microsoft, I should say, doesn't really have the nerve to charge extra when you're giving basically the same specs, but they are giving better games, but the games all cost the same price. You see what I'm saying? So it's a battle of games. And that's what all these gamers have been wanting the whole time, good games. And unfortunately, you can't just brand Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Battlefield, and just slap them on next gen and expect to sell a shit ton of games. You may do that, yes, but that's not what everyone is looking for. They have to understand that, which is why everyone's a little disappointed with the launches. And I fully understand that. The Xbox One, I like it overall. I am very pleasantly surprised. I am happy with the console. I always thought I was going to hate it. I thought I was going to never want to play an Xbox One game. But you know what? I like the system. I like how it works. It's a comfortable console. The one downside I just didn't like was the fact that streaming is not yet available on the Xbox One. It's not ready until 2014. And when you're praising it right off the get-go and you're like, oh yes, we'll have streaming, you can stream, blah, 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 blah. It looks bad, especially when the PS4, your main competitor, has streaming immediately. You see what I'm saying? And so easily, too. With just a simple touch of the button, hit the share button on your PS4 controller, and there you go. You're laughing. God, it's been a while since I've actually held this controller. But you got what I'm saying, okay? They both have upsides and downsides, but for me personally, I think the Xbox One was worth it. But for others, maybe not necessarily yet. You could probably hold off. There might be better games, but if you're a Forza fan, you're definitely going to buy this console, because this is a great Forza. It's one of the best ones I've played. And I've played a few. I haven't played them all, but I have played quite a few. I've played Forza 3 and 2, I believe. I haven't played 4. But, or Horizon. I never played Horizon. Rise isn't needed. It's too short, and it's kind of overrated. It's kind of just repetitive gameplay. So you may not need that one. But you got a couple other games to choose from that you're actually going to have a lot of fun with. So, that settles that. I'm going to say this right now. Do not hate me. Like I said, I'm not saying which console is better. I'm not saying that. In terms of games, listen carefully. Games, as in these things you pop in the console that you play with. These are games. They're not the console itself, okay? I'm going to say it again. Game-wise, enjoyment on the first week of their launch. You understand me? I'm not trying to start a fucking fan war. You have no idea how annoying. Makes you want to grab their heads and just fucking... you know what I mean? In terms of games and enjoyment on the first week of its launch, the Xbox One beat the PS4. Oh my god. Please don't have Ricky spazzes. Like I said, I'm probably going to use PS4 as my dominant console. I like the controller. I like how easy it is to record things. I like how, you know, I love the game. I just love it. Okay, I love the PS4. But at the same time, I can't say I hate the Xbox One. I love the Xbox One too. They're both great consoles, and I don't feel a need to show favorites because I just don't give a flaming shit. What, you know? So people, if you're an Xbox fanboy, you're gonna be happy. Even if you're not, who cares? If you're a Sony fanboy, oh my God, I just don't want to hear it. Okay, I'm not saying either. Even if the fact that I'm saying this right now to you, that I don't give a fuck which console's better, because neither is to me. I like them both differently and for different reasons, and like they both have flaws too. Not one is perfect over the other. And the fact that I'm saying the launch titles were better on the Xbox One, I'm saying it like 7,000 times. I cannot keep saying it, and people are still gonna say, "Dan, you're full of shit." You know, like, I'm sorry. It's just so annoying. I'm sorry, I'm getting all bent out of shape and doing weird stuff, but it's the truth. I mean, it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter the fact that I am an impartial gamer reviewer, if you will, and the fact that I got both consoles wasn't my intention to pick favorites. And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh damn, but you've always chosen Xbox 360 over PS3, that means you suck their dicks. I've had an Xbox 360 longer than a PS3. Anybody who's known me long enough, I had an Xbox 360 on launch. I didn't get a PS3 until 2010. So I had the Xbox 360 5 years longer. When you're familiar with something, you're bound to go with that, okay? There's nothing to do. To be honest, like I said, after these announcements from Microsoft at E3, I was willing to throw Xbox to the wolves. I didn't care. I'm like, obviously, because I'm not a fanboy. I don't care. I'm an impartial person. If the console's going to screw me over that much, I'm not going to get it right away. Or whatever the case would be. And I'd go with the PS4. But Microsoft picked their shit up. And Sony, they did fine. It's not nothing against Sony. Sony made a great console from the looks of things. And it has a lot of potential to do great things, like I said. But the games on launch weren't that good. So that's my opinion. Please, if you guys have any self-respect for yourselves, do not start talking shit about each other's consoles, because what's the point? What is it going to get you? Have you ever asked yourself that question? What is fanboy war bullshit getting you? It doesn't get you anywhere. If anything, it just causes random spam comments. Because let's just be honest. Joe over here who likes PlayStation is always going to like PlayStation. Mike over here who likes Microsoft, that was just a coincidence that I chose that name, he's always going to like Microsoft. You're never going to bicker at each other enough to say that, oh, this is better than this, that's better than that. You're not going to persuade Mike to go to PS3, or sorry, PlayStation. You're not going to persuade, what did I say his name was? Joe or something? Who fucking cares? You're not going to persuade Joe to go to Xbox. It's not going to happen. So you guys are basically, you might as well turn to your walls and bicker at your walls, because the wall is probably going to listen better than these fanboys are going to listen. If you don't like the console, don't buy it. Why are you here? If you're trying to find out. If you're here to watch me shit on the Xbox One, it's not happening. And if you're over at the PS4, you're watching me to shit on the PS4, it ain't happening. I like both consoles. They're great consoles. I'm talking about games, people. Fuck. Off the line. Off the line. Like, you can't even win. I'm sorry, I keep saying this, but I'm just trying to reiterate to the people who do have a brain and are listening, can realize how dumb the people who are commenting about fanboy bullshit are going to end up doing. Because I'm going to see it. I am going to see it for saying that. Even though I specifically mentioned the games alone. Okay? You got that? Oh my god. There's no point. There's no point. Really, there isn't. Forever, I'm going to get tons of dislikes on this because the Sony fanboys are going to get upset. Just like I got dislikes on the PS4 one. The Xbox fanboys got upset because I didn't say it was a bad console. I said the games were bad off the launch. They're not even bad. They're just not even that fun. That's the better way to put it. Okay? I've rambled on long enough. If you guys have a brain and you're not gonna start talking shit about each other's consoles, let me know what you thought of the launch from your perspective. If you didn't get any either through me, what you've seen via gameplay on YouTube, whatever the case would be, let me know your thoughts on each launch. Specifically this one for Xbox One. What do you think of the Xbox One's launch? Please don't do fanboy wars. I just don't want to hear it. It's your deaf ears. You're playing on deaf ears right now because I just don't give a shit. You're not gonna persuade me to hate one or the other. I love both. Okay. I won't do that. Anyway, so thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and favorite it on the way out. Like I said, I'd love to hear your comments as long as it's not stupid bullshit likes. I guess that's your opinion, so I guess you can air your opinion, but it would be a little more mature of some of these people if you had a nice discussion, okay? Thank you. Alright guys, take it easy, have a good one. Hope you enjoy. I got plenty more gameplay, and that includes the rest of, I have still a shitload of Forza to do. That game's going to take me a while. I still have Dead Rising coming up. I beat the game already, so you'll be seeing Dead Rising 3. I'm probably going to go back and do some Rise multiplayer. I'm not sure, because it is kind of repetitive, but somebody wants to see it. And in terms of PS4 gameplay, I got more Need for Speed Rivals coming your way. I have recorded up to part 27, like last week, before the Xbox One came out, and I just got to pick it up again, but a lot of racing games, so you're going to see a lot. So, thanks guys, take it easy, have a good one, and we'll see you very soon in the next bit of gameplay, whichever gameplay you see me in. Later.